Hello and a very warm welcome to you here at the National Stadium, Singapore. It's the AFF Suzuki Cup 2020 match day 1, and it's Singapore, the hosts, up against Myanmar. The second match that has taken place today here after we had Thailand defeat Timor-Leste just a short while ago by 2-0. That's why Thailand are top of the table for now. A chance here for Singapore perhaps, or even Myanmar, to do so with a win by a bigger margin. Thailand not perhaps at their best against Timor-Leste. They didn't need to be, but they got the win that they needed to get this tournament going, and that's what these two teams here will want. 3 points in the bag in the opening fixture puts you in a good stead. Remember, the top 2 teams will make their way into the semi-finals. Group B starts tomorrow at Bishan Stadium. All matches, of course, to be played in Singapore. This national stadium will see all Group A matches, one big Group B encounter, Indonesia versus Malaysia, and all the knockout rounds. 10,000 fans allowed in here due to COVID-19 restrictions. It can take up to 55,000, but certainly the football-starved public, certainly at the national level, international level rather, they are absolutely desperate to see their heroes on the pitch. Singapore, of course, being a global city, has groups, of course, community groups from all the ASEAN countries living here, so that will make it interesting. And there's a very big, a sizable local Myanmarese population here living in Singapore community, and they are certainly very vocal and big in their support. Players in the tunnel there, you can see Haris Harun, the skipper of Singapore. He's had plenty to say in the lead up to this game. Of course, expectations always run high in Singapore, especially with that home advantage. Whether they can deliver on that, of course, is another matter. It's the first time since 1996, when Singapore hosted the inaugural tournament, that they've hosted this on their own. But Singapore had a promising start to their World Cup qualifying campaign under Tatsuma Yoshida, and then it fell away spectacularly in Saudi Arabia, a centralized venue, when they went on to lose heavily in all 3 matches against Saudi Arabia, Palestine and Uzbekistan. And they'll certainly want to turn that around. They went back to the Middle East for a training tour not too long ago in Dubai, and lost both games. Kyrgyzstan 2-1, and then against Morocco they lost 7-0. For Myanmar, they went to Turkey for a month-long preparation. They have been hit by their league, which has not been happening for some time now. They've had withdrawals of a number of players due to the situation over there, and they beat a couple of amateur clubs, but they also lost to Burundi 2-1. They got thrashed by Indonesia 4-1, so their preparations have not been good. So both these teams coming into this match off the back of not great form, has to be said. 6-game losing streak. Myanmar not at their best. As I said, being hit by a number of withdrawals and some very talented players indeed. And so it'll be interesting to see how they cope with that here in the AFF Suzuki Cup. Myanmar have never been to the finals. The best performance was the semi-finals in 2004 and 2016. Singapore, of course, 4 times champions in this competition, 1 semi-final in 2008. Otherwise, all the rest have been group exits, so they pretty much go all the way or don't leave the group.
For the national anthem.
Now for the national anthems.
And now, the national anthem of Singapore.
Come on!
Stirring rendition there by the crowd. Here comes support their local heroes. Singapore have a very good record against Myanmar. They've beaten them every time in the competition, 5 wins out of 5. In fact, the last 9 times these two sides have played, they've won 6 of those matches. As we look at the Singapore starting lineup, it's a debut in competitive action for Song Wee-young, who was recently naturalized. Iksan Fundi has made the trip back from Norway with FK Jørv, where he is plying his trade. It is a very experienced lineup here for the Singapore team as they look to try and get off to winning ways with Shalan Sulaiman at the base of that midfield. A very experienced bench as well, though there are exciting times ahead for the likes of Tajeli Slamat and a few others, Amy Reka as well, yet to make their international bow. I'm hoping, of course, that they will get that opportunity. Well, with me in the commentary position, someone who knows Asian football inside out, and I know as excited as I am about this, Roshan Rai. What can we expect from this game, Roshan?
Really looking forward to this one, Shez, and especially with the build-up that both these sides have had coming into this. You know, we know it's been difficult for Myanmar. They've had about a month in a training camp in Turkey. You mentioned the results that they've had in the second round of World Cup qualifying in Asia, and the mood around the Singapore national side hasn't been the best in certain circles. There's some pessimism out there, which you'd expect. There's also optimism, and every time a competition like this comes along, it's a chance for these players to show that we're developing and we're on the right track.
Well, the key player to watch out for is the captain Mong Mong Luin, who was part of that side, of course, that famously qualified for the 2015 FIFA Under-20 World Cup, and he belonged to a generation that really tried to bring them to greater heights. David Tan is the experienced member of the side, the defender. What do you make of this side? Because they are stripped of the likes of Ong Tu, who's such a prolific striker. Yeah,
Choko Ko as well, another one who would normally be in this lineup. It still is a side that has some good talent to keep an eye on. Mong Mong Lin, the number 11, is a player that is very exciting. He loves to get the ball at his feet and run at defenders. Le Mang as well, the number 20 on the opposite flank. He's another player to keep an eye on. And then they've got quite a physical presence up front in Ong Kang Man. The number 13, they've got that ability to play it into him. He can hang on to it and then release some runners from those deeper midfield positions. I had a look at their game against Indonesia recently. I think it was their last warm-up match on that tour of Turkey, and they looked a little bit disjointed, which is kind of understandable. There were a few gaps between the lines, players losing their positions and getting a little bit stretched. So, you know, I'm sure Tatsuma Yoshida, the Singapore coach, would have looked at that as well and gotten footage of that and tried to analyze where the Lions could look to exploit them in those spaces. And when you look at that Singapore lineup, players like Faris Ramli, plenty of pace, wonderful quality on the ball, not afraid to again take defenders on and start running at them. Shawa Anwar on the other side as well, playing on that right hand side. Got plenty of pace, but he's someone who perhaps doesn't get enough credit for his movement off the ball, which is excellent, and his technical qualities, his ability with the ball at his feet as well. He's very good, very tidy, and they've finally got a striker up front who knows how to put the ball in the back of the net with Iksan leading the line. It's a profile of player that they lacked in the qualifiers.
A quick moment of silence there to stand together in remembrance of all those who may have passed due to COVID-19. Nice gesture there from AFF and the teams involved. Here we go then. Singapore against Myanmar. Group A of the AFF Suzuki Cup 2020. Singapore playing in their traditional red. I said earlier, Roshan, this was about as strong an 11 as Singapore can put up.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I go along with that. It's a good-looking lineup, isn't it, in terms of the talent and the ability of the players that they've got on the pitch there. And very early on, we're seeing Song and what he will bring to the Singapore midfield is driving straight through the middle there. Got plenty of power.
An old teammate of yours, Roshan, you've known him for a long time, and
yeah,
tell us about his attributes.
Since he was 18 years old, and he came to Singapore all those years ago with Home United back then. It's been great watching him sort of develop into the sort of player that he's become.
Faris Ramli fires the ball in, or tries to anyway. Iksan chests it down, tries to force it across, but has gone out of play, and that goal, of course, will knock out from Faris Ramli. But the crowd already enjoying the endeavour shown by the home side.
Vital that they try and set the tempo early on. And it looks like they absolutely understand the occasion and what the first match of this competition means. Getting off to a good start. We saw Thailand earlier against Timor-Leste. Perhaps not the best performance, but what was important was that they picked up the win. Got a couple of goals in that one. And what was difficult for Thailand in that game was they had a lot of possession. They had a couple of opportunities to find the opener. And the longer it sort of went on, the more difficult they kind of found it. Absolutely. And thankfully for them, they made those two changes at half-time, and Patampon was able to come on and make an immediate impact with their opener, and that sort of gave them a bit more freedom to play.
Oh, look, they're coming through. Shawal, he's got plenty of pace about him as well. Just to run at players. I was just hoping that would come on to him. Shakir Hamza restored back to the national side, the left back. He's got some competition now, Nur Adam Abdullah. Finds a bit of space. He's blocked in the end by Yang Ning U. Driving forward himself, at least trying to.
Well, there's another player they were missing in the World Cup qualifiers. They struggled in Safwan Baharudin. Missed out through injury. It was essentially that spine that was missing in that Singapore lineup.
Yeah, I think we have to be fair when we spoke about a poor campaign in Saudi Arabia. They missed the spine of that team, as you mentioned. And here's Iksan, ball just behind Shawal. There's real intent early on here from Singapore as they get their first corner.
You know, as Antoine Hey said in the build-up to this game, Singapore should come into this as the favourites, and he's absolutely right. They should be.
He said anyone who tries to say anything different is having a complete joke. I think he said it a little bit more forcefully than I am. He's an experienced campaigner. He was here with the Myanmar team in the previous campaign, where they did credit to be Russian, finishing third in the group, only a couple points behind Malaysia, drew with Vietnam, goalless draw. That is cleared away by Mong Nguyen.
Yeah, I just wanted to come back to Myanmar, as you mentioned, and there have been times in this competition where they've looked really exciting to watch. Remember one of the youth teams doing really well on the international stage a few years ago, and you had lots of these players sort of coming through and developing along very nicely. And I remember them playing in a friendly here back in 2019. I think it was Tatsuma Yoshida's second match in charge of the Singapore national team, and they looked really good in that one.
In fact, I was mentioning earlier about the last 9 games where Singapore have won 6 of them, been 2 draws. The only time Singapore have lost was in that one match you're talking about. That's the most recent time they played each other. Ball comes across. Feather it in, Hen Tet Yong.
So again, Myanmar just showing their ability in possession. They're at their best when they're able to get it forward into that front 3 really quickly. You just see number 11, Mong Mong Lin, just linking that play. They drop off a little bit deeper. And then there was that run from Tet Ong.
Firing that across the face of the goal, Mong Mong Lin. They've cleared that off the line. Now trying to search forward here, Song Wei-young. Haris Harun. He's just surrounded by players.
That's fantastic from Myanmar, the way they recovered that situation defensively. On that defensive transition, getting back into positions very quickly. Yeah, 3 or 4 players around Haris Harun there. He just couldn't quite get his head up, get his foot on the ball and turn away. Just try and switch the angle of attack in that situation.
They wanted something for that. Myanmar players didn't get it. Shake Hamza. What we're seeing, Roshan, is something we didn't see in the first game, which is kind of action on both ends of the pitch at the moment. Here's Faris. Now Shada. Trying to angle that in for Shawal.
I'll tell you what, it's nice to hear the crowd reacting as well.
I think we even had a shoot there for Shadan Sulaiman from distance.
Well, we've seen him in the... oh, that's not good. Not good for Myanmar at all.
Yan Chan has gone down already. Zortun, sorry, excuse me.
Frustration for Antoine Hay. This is that another look at that corner swung in by Bobo. Big clearance from Safwan there. Just needed a slight touch from Kong Ma, I think it was. It was played back in by Solamang. Just couldn't find the back of the net in that situation. But they've gotten off to a really bright start, have Myanmar.
Yeah, as I was saying, it's nice to see end to end. There's a bit more action. There was not really that, was there? There were only 2 shots on target from Timor-Leste in the entire game. They barely got to the final third.
Yeah, it was the flick on the first time at the near post by Mong Mong Lin. Hong Kong man there just couldn't quite get his toe on that. And then as they broke forward, Song Wei-young there, again showing his energy with the ball. Myanmar were very good at transitioning into that defensive phase and winning it back once again. Which is good to see because, again, just going back to that last friendly they had against Indonesia, there were times when the organization, in terms of their pressing structure, wasn't quite right. It wasn't very good from Myanmar in the sense that you had one player stepping up to press, but everyone else was just trying to hold their position. So it was relatively straightforward for Indonesia to sort of try and break through in those situations.
They went on that trip without many of those regulars, Russian. I think they just struggled, didn't they? For fluidity. Now Anton Hayes had a bit more time with this group.
Well, a few of those players who were in that game are in the lineup here. Actually, so perhaps they looked at that, and they would have looked at that and said, guys, you know what, in these situations, if we're not set to press properly, then sit back, just protect the spaces, don't worry about stepping up. And also had a situation where Leng Bubu was often isolated, and he was sitting in front of the back four in that game. Didn't quite get the help that he needed in defensive situations. And this is what I'm talking about here, when Iksan just drop outs into these spaces.
Just offside. Iksan played a delightful ball there to the path of Song Wei-young.
And that's exactly what I'm referring to, when Myanmar can be a little bit too open in midfield. Just have a look at that. And it's a number 10, Yan Nang-u, who just gets dragged across to that right-hand side of the pitch.
Good call there from the officials. All the pitch officials are from Jordan. foul, despite what the crowd are saying. Over to David Tan. Kongman. Looking fairly assured on the ball here, Myanmar. Mongluin finds Tet Ong. Return ball to David Tan. The shot is blocked, and the follow-up is well over in the end. A couple of warning shots there. This one from Nyang U.
Yes, Singapore living dangerously at the moment. And Myanmar, the way they're sort of passing it around, the combinations that they've got going for them, there's nice movement of the ball. David Tan there, playing the overlapping run on the outside of Tet Ong. Number 20, Solamang, has gone down after that challenge from Irfan.
A couple of players already had to receive treatment.
He should be good to go.
Yeah, there have been just slightly nervy moments at the back here for Singapore.
Yeah. And it can happen sometimes, those opening match nerves creeping in a little bit. And when you've got such a strong desire to want to get off to a really good start, and you feel that pressure of playing at home and knowing that, listen, we've got to put in a strong performance here. You know, opening match of the group stage of the campaign. The fans have come out. The Singapore section of the stadium has been sold out, which is a credit to the fans. You know, they've come out and they've been asked to support the team, and they certainly have done that. It's now up to the side to respond.
Here's Shawal. Just see what Sun was looking to do. The ball comes up to Lam Mang. He's end-to-end at the moment. He's gone for goal. Took a deflection along the way. Maybe that was not quite his intention, but they have the corner.
The angle was a bit deceptive there. I thought it was actually headed on target. Just as he struck this. Again, if Myanmar, you're encouraged by this, aren't you? I mean,
absolutely.
They look very lively in possession, nice and comfortable, confident on the ball, not afraid to have shots at goal.
Another chance here for Myanmar. They've gone short this time. David Tan tries to fire it across. Bobo gets the ball into the mix.
That is a very interesting variation on the set piece. It's just unfortunate for them it didn't quite come off, because David Tan, once he set off there, he caught Faris off guard.
Here he is again, David Tan. Might just have gone out for a corner of Safwan.
Again, they've just been encouraged. It looks like they've been encouraged by Antoine Hey to just get down and take the defenders on. Make sure you cause a few issues for them, run at these defenders, ask questions.
Piece of ball, it is cleared away by Safwan. And now on the break, here comes Singapore. It's a great run. Chance to get past the keeper. Oh, he's made a very, very important interception there. A double save from Min Lat, because his team looked in trouble. From Faris Ramli. What a chance.
Yeah, again, it's Song who picks this up. Just as this set piece breaks down, headed away clear by Safwan initially, that's well done from him. And Song, again, just with the power that he has in these situations, shrugs off that challenge, and that's a beautiful pass. It's well weighted. A credit to the goalkeeper, Min Lat, I think, for being very quick to come off his line and identify that was the pass that Song was looking for. Close down the space in front of him very quickly, but really you expect Faris to do a bit better in that situation.
The option of going to his right as well. It is an entertaining start to this game, nonetheless. And we're going to see a card here. I think the referee said, calm it down to Song Woo-young.
Yeah, he's showing real aggression and hunger to try and make things happen for Singapore's team. I mean, everything good so far has come from Song Woo-young, and the fact that he's been driving through those central midfield positions.
Now I just wonder how much longer this referee is going to just warn players. To his credit, he's still keeping the cards close to his chest, Muhammad Ali, but not sure it will be for much longer.
I think what was interesting for me there as well is he wasn't just talking to Shaki.
Everyone.
He was, as he gave his warning to Shaki, he turned across and said to everyone, enough.
So that really probably will be the final warning. Oh, now. Again, he's got to calm it down. Shaki Hamza. There's quite a lot of warnings going on here.
He's given him another chance there, another opportunity. I think he's saying, this time, fair enough, you were fouled, so I'm going to let that go.
Cool heads will have to prevail. Faris going up to Iksan, who gets something on it. Here's Faris. Just couldn't get the ball out of his feet. Tet Ong. Once they do get hold of the ball, they just quickly disperse, don't they? Got runners everywhere. Seems to be a more disciplined performance, Roshan, than what you saw against Indonesia.
Yeah, much more disciplined. Much more disciplined and much more organized from them. And perhaps Singapore just haven't had enough possession at the moment. There's a real spell of possession to try and open up those gaps in the center of midfield. Because that's where I think they can really exploit this Myanmar side. But Myanmar looks so good with the ball going forward.
Oh, Nguyen just trying to play that into Kong Man. Possession more or less equal at the moment.
And it just looks like at the moment they've sorted out that positioning in midfield, in the sense that instead of it just being that single sort of pivot player, that single defensive midfielder sitting in front of that back four, at times what we'll see is maybe the number 10, Neng U, just dropping in alongside Lang Bu Bu. And if it isn't him, then one of their wingers actually tucks in. So we'll see how that develops as the game goes on, and whether they can keep their tactical discipline and their shape in this game.
Bobo was the one, as you mentioned, screening in front of that back four. Nguyen just doing his laces up there. Quite like Shadan playing that very deep-lying role, don't you?
Yeah, and I think he
passes, spraying those passes.
Yeah, and I think he's enjoying it. Spoke to him recently, and when he was a younger player as well, played against him, he was actually more of an attacking midfielder. And he mentioned that he used to get frustrated being an attacking midfielder and not receiving the ball from a deeper lying midfielder, and so he
so
used
if you
to
want
find
to do something, do it yourself. Is that
so he used to find himself actually dropping deeper and deeper and deeper, and now he's a lot more involved in the game. He's such an intelligent midfielder as well, Shadan, very composed on the ball in possession, and he was a huge part of the Lion City Sailors winning the Singapore Premier League title. I thought it was perhaps their best player. His consistency that he showed across the season.
Just getting a sense, a little bubbling across the stadium of impatience, perhaps, from the fans. See things happen. Gliding past a few players here. Is there going to be a penalty? No, there isn't going to be one. something else instead.
Oh, that was such a strong run. Very positive run from Irfan from out of central defence. I wonder if we'll see a few more of those types of runs from him. Just have a look at this. Plenty of pace behind it. Just drive straight through. Yeah. I think the referee has made the right call, and we get the benefit of replays here. Let's remember, I think the referee has made the right call there.
Didn't even need to go down.
The funny thing is, he was actually in behind already.
He got past his man.
Yeah, he got past his man. I think he just lost balance, or perhaps was anticipating contact.
Well, that's a great run, and he's got that in him. Remember, Irfan has also played as a forward in the past.
You know, we see across the world of football as well, when central defenders step up with the ball, step out with the ball. Those defenders who have the ability to do that can cause lots of issues.
There's Shakir. Nice shape on the ball. Song. Just bobbled off his knee. But I think it's taken a deflection. Will be a corner.
Or you're just wondering if he could have hit it first time, perhaps. I'm just trying to recall how it sort of fell into him, but this is much better from Singapore. Faris is cutting inside and getting the overlapping run from Shakir. Yeah. Just trying to see if he could have maybe hit it first time instead of taking it on his thigh. It would have been difficult. He was closed down. You do have to give credit to Myanmar for getting enough bodies around him defensively.
The crowd not particularly appreciative at the moment of the Myanmar players going down. Very little sympathy being shown. I do recall, of course, a feisty game, Roshan.
Yes, I was here actually.
I was in that.
Yeah, were we here?
I was watching that as a fan, and let's just say it was colourful in the stands.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously didn't know each other back then.
Who would know that 15 years later, here we are. The other way around, it's a header in. Can they finish off? Irfan Fundi with the header. The first real chance for Singapore on target.
Yeah, that's a wonderful header from Irfan. Have a look at this. Gets a little bit of space, and what's difficult about that as well is he has to move backwards towards the ball. You know, it's not a ball that's headed towards goal; it's headed away from goal. He's got to generate that power from his own header.
It's been an encouraging few minutes here for Singapore, looking to open the scoring here in this match against Myanmar, AFF Suzuki Cup. Just behind Shakir as well.
Yeah, I remember that 2004 semi-final really well. Wonderful atmosphere. Full house, I think.
Yeah.
And the old National
Stadium, that's
same,
right.
Same venue. Yeah, things got heated.
On and off the pitch. Of course, we are nowhere near that kind of crowd at the moment.
And I was just going to say that this competition is fantastic, and it means a lot to people in the region, to these teams in the region. And it's because you're coming up against sides who have a similar sort of standard, a similar level. And psychologically, you think there's an opportunity for us to win something.
Absolutely. Almost a short ball there. Well dealt with by Shadan. There's Nazrul. Not the best cross, almost creeping in though. From Shawa, he didn't mean that, and he's put his hand up in apology, but it almost crept in, and it's a corner. But again, it's another player down. Min Lat is the keeper, of course, and the crowd again not impressed.
Bit harsh, the boos ringing out. He needed to take action there, Min Lat, and I don't think Shawa actually means this at all. I think he connected with the crossbar, his left hand, Min Lat, just as he's gone across to push this one over.
This one straight to him, looking to try and launch that early instead. Goes short. Here's Kongman. Oh, lovely work from Tet Ong. Nice feel to this game so far, Roshan.
Yeah, it's a really good contest between both these sides, and I think Tatsuma Yoshida as well having spoken to him recently, he was talking about Myanmar and how he feels that they're sort of on a similar level to Singapore in terms of opposition in the group. And he understands the challenges that they've had, but he was full of respect for them in terms of the qualities that they do have, and he was certainly looking forward to this one and looking forward to leading Singapore in this competition. The thing around this is when you hear from some of the coaches, when you speak to them, they have a really good idea, a really good understanding of just what this competition means. Alexander Manopolking, I remember, Thailand's coach, before this competition, spoke about how high expectations are at the Suzuki Cup from your home fans. They expect you to go in this and they expect you to win it. And Thailand and Vietnam, I think, you know, coming into this, in terms of the form that they've had, the quality that those two teams have shown over the last few years or so, quite rightly regarded as favorites. And I think they feel that, you know, if you end up winning this, you're instantly regarded as a hero, and you get a little bit more time to sort of then impart your values and your tactics on the bigger scale.
Otherwise, quite often, that's it.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to say that, you know, they know how important this is, because there's only one homegrown coach in the entire tournament.
And that's Tan Cheng Ho with Malaysia.
Malaysia in action tomorrow against Cambodia. Group B gets underway.
And interesting, you got a Singaporean coach leading Laos.
They'll be playing against Vietnam. There's Shadan here with a free kick. Goes short. Shakir to Faris, who uncharacteristically loses control of the ball. At one point, Singapore had more Suzuki Cups than anyone else. They got their fourth in 2012, beating Thailand in the process. It's been slim picking since then. Can they open the scoring here? No foul for the referee. Took a long, hard look at that. Safwan across to Shakir. Now Neng U. Bit of work here to do for Lam Mang. That's a poor cross from him. Antoine Hay was a little disturbed yesterday, talking about the arrangements in terms of COVID-19 and retesting. Maybe a few mind games in there as well, Roshan. But sometimes you build a siege mentality that also can help the situation with a team that's probably regarded as a bit of an underdog.
Yeah, it certainly can. And you know, I think when the draw was first made, there were lots of people out there who were saying that the other group with Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia was the group of death. I think you look at that group and you think, yeah, those three, Cambodia in there, Laos in there. Whereas with Group A here that you've got, I look at it as four teams realistically gunning for that place in the semi-finals. Thailand, Singapore, Myanmar, and Philippines. Yeah. I think competition in this group is going to be really tight. I mean, we saw it even with Timor-Leste and Thailand, and how difficult Timor-Leste actually made it for Thailand to try and break them down. So it's going to be fascinating to just cover this competition and have a look at all the games across the next month or so.
Here's Safwan. Has to go back. Now Irfan going to do one of his Lazy runs again. Song to Shawal. Nengu. Kangman has drifted onto this right-hand side, the lone striker. Important intervention there from Safwan. Nicely done by Faris to win the ball back. This Shadan sees the space out wide, but it's not a good pass to Shawal, and it's intercepted.
I think he just got in two minds a little bit there, Shadan, as he received it. He did well to hang on to the ball and turn away from that pressure, find himself a little bit of space. Perhaps when he was looking to just play it out to the right-hand side, wasn't quite sure if he was looking for Nazrul or Shawal actually. Eventually found neither. Faris goes to ground under the challenge of David Tan. It's a bit of space here for Shawal to work with.
Shawal coming inside. This is the option of Nazrul Nazari. Not the greatest ball in. And they'll get that away via Tet Ong.
Well, they run themselves a corner here. Done really well. And initially, the opportunity, the opening space that Shawal had on the right-hand side, I think a better first touch would have taken him behind that defence. Instead, it just killed the momentum of the move off a little bit. And they've done well here, Singapore, to turn that around and win themselves a corner.
Free header. He loves to get those kind of positions, doesn't he, Safwan? Great in the air.
And that's one of Singapore's strengths, isn't it? The fact that they've got really good ability in the air. The likes of Safwan, likes of Irfan, Iksan in there as well in the box. A nuisance of himself.
Remember, he is, and I'm sure he doesn't like to hear that, but Mr. Utility can play pretty much anywhere on the pitch, can't he?
There was a point when he was playing up front, Safwan, but I think most observers of Singapore football have always felt that his best position is in central defence, or at least that's where he would be most useful to the Singapore international side.
Yeah, there was also, you know, speculation about Haris Harun as well, wasn't there, about where he would play. He's been playing central defence for Lion City Sailors this season. Here's Song. Out wide to Shakir. Song to Harris. Goes out wide to the right here. Shawal Anwar has overhit that one. And Nazrul. The deliveries, Roshan, a little bit lacking at the moment, aren't they?
Yes, and these are the differences that you find in top-level football. The absolute elite level, when they get into those positions, the delivery, the quality of the deliveries that come in are very, very good. They cause issues for opposition defenses.
Harris. Shawal, touch back to him. Harris. He's been driven wide of the goal. He'll get a corner.
And sometimes the problems that we have in the region, I'm talking about football regionally, is when you get into really good key positions, advanced positions in good attacking areas, that final delivery or decision making is not at a top level, and that's where opportunities sort of break down. And you can see those differences when teams from ASEAN come up against some of the big guns in Asia in qualifying.
It's another header! This time it makes its way back on the net! And it's that man again, Safwan Baradin, who was scoring for Singapore in the last tournament. He's done it again here.
Yeah, look, the warning signs were there. We had Irfan with that first header that was saved by Min Lat. Safwan with the second attempt. And then this one, the third time the corner comes in, he makes sure he absolutely punishes Myanmar. I mean, the warning signs have been there.
Literally like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. And he's learned from that. We spoke about Singapore's aerial threat and ability to attack set pieces, coming to the fore big time. And you have to say the rhythm of the game had shifted. You know, Myanmar had a really bright start.
Yeah.
And then Singapore took a bit of time to sort of grow into it, but they've started to dominate the match, I think.
They've got to look at that defending on the set pieces. I think they'll be a little disappointed with that. Great leap from Safwan Baradin. Opening goal for Singapore. There's about 10 minutes or so left in this first half. Sharma keeps that in. Mong Nguyen does really well on the turn. Another little pirouette from him. Out wide to Tet Ong, who's now moved back onto this right-hand side. Swapped with Lam Mang. He's done well here. Tet Ong. Can they hit back immediately here, the Myanmarese? That comes off Safwan.
A good reaction from Myanmar. I think tactically as well, Mong Lin, who normally starts matches for them out in one of those wider positions, for this one he's been brought into more of a central role, and he does have an influence on their build-up in possession, the way he sort of creates chances for them.
That came off the striker Kong Man. You quite like him in that central position because he's almost like a playmaker role, isn't he?
Yeah, and I remember watching him a few years ago in the AFC Cup. Mong Lin, and again, someone who starts out on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side again, and then he drifts into those central positions to create havoc with his directness, with his dribbling ability. What they've done here, they've moved him into more of a central position, and he can be that link man for them in attack. Number 11, he's got wonderful ability on the ball, so he can receive it in tight spaces in those central areas, and we saw a great example of that where he pirouettes away from a couple of Singapore midfielders. Opens things up for Myanmar in that situation, and then he went across to link up with Tet Ong down that right-hand side as well.
And Chan launches that up towards Lam Mang. They want to take it quickly.
Surely a foul throw.
A little too quickly, perhaps.
I'm surprised because at the professional level, foul throws, I don't know why referees are reluctant to give them, but today I saw one in the Timor-Leste game. I've seen one now, 2 for 2.
Yeah, there's even throwing in coaches these days, Russian.
Yeah, listen, I don't mind that at all. I mean, look, you look for marginal gains where you can, and if it's effective, if it works for you, why not? Obviously, you need to find answers for that kind of stuff as well. And it's absolutely right. I mean, you often see teams, or well, you used to see teams losing lots of possession in these throw-in situations whenever they restart play, because it's very tight in those areas.
Yeah.
So you've got to get movement, you've got to get a switch away from that pressure point. For example, in that corner, the first throw-in has got to come to someone, and the second pass has to go out away from there.
Yeah, it's always criminal when you lose possession off a throw-in, isn't it? Immediately. Oh, and he's found a little gap there. Song Wei-oh. Here's Faris. He's got Iksan in front of him. Now Shawal to his right. He goes wide, takes a shot. A close one, great goal that is! And Iksan Fundi fires Singapore into a 2-0 lead. On the counter, Singapore are deadly.
Lightning quick counter-attack there. And what a finish from Iksan. Did it all on his own. He had support. He said, you know what, guys, I don't need it. Again, it's Song who starts it off. He drives across, but this is, you talk about criminal earlier, this is criminal from Myanmar. The fact that they've left themselves exposed like that on the counter-attack. It's happened twice now to them. I mean, just have a look at this from Iksan. Takes his defender on, and that is a difficult angle. A very difficult angle, but the finesse, the accuracy that he shows with that finish,
this will give us a good view of it.
Just have a look at this. He gets pushed wide here, but he drives it across the face of goal into the far post. Tell you, delivery, the ability to deliver that quality in those key moments, and that's why he's playing in Europe.
Take a bow, young man. Absolutely right there. Wasn't an easy angle by any stretch. That's a great finish. Singapore are looking very good here now.
Yeah, they were looking a little bit nervy at the start of the game. I think they'll be feeling a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident now.
Well, that has certainly set the tournament alight, hasn't it? It was a very, very different feel, the 2-0 result in the other game. They laboured on that one, Thailand, against opposition that many would have felt, well, given that they thrashed them 7-0 the last time they met, thought we'd see something similar. Not to be the case. Singapore lost to Myanmar the last time they played against them, and a lot of confidence at the moment. Here's Faris Ramli, they're just exhibiting that confidence.
A lovely bit of skill on the touchline.
Irfan. Myanmar need to get back into the way they were playing at the start of this game.
Yeah, they've been done at a set piece. They had the 3 warnings at a set piece situation. Didn't heed those warnings. They didn't adjust to the threats that Singapore were posing, and then they got done on a counter-attack as well. And even for the counter-attack, the warning signs were there.
Well, that throw-in, it's causing problems here into the side netting of Kong Man, and that was the first nervy moment for Singapore in a while. Seemed to just switch off there, off the throw-in.
Caught by surprise, that Singapore defence. A quick throw-in. Credit to Lam Mang. Giving it to Kong Man.
A lot of players right in front of the goal. Straightforward for Hassan Sani though. First competitive start for him in a while. Launches that quickly, and it was falling over, wasn't he, David Tan? Managed to get himself in the way.
It's incredible. They're still leaving themselves 2-on-2 at the back. I'm not quite sure what the thinking behind that is. Well, they're supremely confident in the ability of the 2 defenders that they've left behind to manage those counter-attacking situations.
Well, we'll just take the opportunity here to remind you of Singapore's 2 goals. Starting with Safwan Baradin here, Roshan.
Yeah, it's a fantastic header from Safwan. Such great timing he has to meet the ball, rises early and just directs it back where it came from. And then this is a brilliant, brilliant finish from this young man. And he's a player, that profile of player that Singapore were missing. I know I keep going back to that, but what a difference he makes. You know, I mean, that opportunity he creates sort of on his own in the sense. Okay, the assist will go to Faris. It was a wonderful counter-attack from Singapore. But he had pushed himself a little bit wider away, creating that little bit of space between himself and the defender, that opening to have a shot at goal, but the quality in the finish was excellent.
Now, in most stadia around the world, a wave normally indicates the crowd maybe perhaps a little tired of proceedings on the pitch, maybe nothing much is going on. In Singapore, it's a rather different significance. It is part of the DNA of the Singapore fan. When things are going well, the wave comes out in celebration. And right now, some buoyant fans here, with their team 2-0 up and about 1.5 minutes to go till half-time. I think there will be a fair bit of stoppage though, Russian, given the number of stoppages that we've had. Here's Shawal, still going. Now he certainly will get the free kick. Took about 2 or 3 knocks in that.
Yeah, it's now Myanmar players who are starting to lose their heads here, lose their cool.
Looks like half-time couldn't come at a better moment for them.
Getting really frustrated. Yeah, this is Shawal for you. His directness, ability to hang on to the ball at pace, invite those challenges.
Nguyen has to play this captain's role now, doesn't he? Inexperienced side.
I don't know if it's probably just me, but halftime seems to have come really quickly.
Yeah, it's flown by, hasn't it? It's been an absorbing encounter. It's just the 2 minutes then in the end. We'll see. More than enough time, perhaps, for another goal. Singapore with a chance to make it 3, perhaps. Looping header again! And it's Iksan who's got his brace, and Singapore's 3rd.
Again, another set-piece situation, another excellent header from deep. Wonderful finish from Iksan again, showing his quality in the box. They get a good delivery coming in from Shadan, right on the penalty spot there. There's still quite a lot of work to do with that header again, but just his strength in how he's able to shrug off his marker there, Win Mo Chaw.
He's now into double figures for international goals. 10 in 19 appearances. It's a pretty good return, isn't it?
Yeah.
For a young man. His dad is not too far away from us, Roshan. Legendary Singapore striker, a name known throughout Southeast Asia. Fandi Ahmad looking on with pride, I'm sure, at his son.
Yeah, not as tall as his boys, but boy, could he hit a ball.
Absolutely.
Must be something in the genes.
And we might have 3 brothers playing at some stage in this tournament, because Ilhan Fandi is also in the squad. And for those not aware, Irfan Fandi, the centre-back for Singapore, is Iksan's brother. Roshan, what do they do now? We've had 2 minutes on the clock. We're about to go into half-time. What do Myanmar need to do? How are they going to...
It's difficult, because when you look at the overall play, they haven't actually been opened up. They haven't actually been torn apart. They've conceded 2 goals from set-piece situations, and very avoidable if you sort of are aware. Because you work on those set-piece routines, you work on those situations as players shirking their responsibilities and not learning in-game of how to deal with the threats that Singapore pose. 2 goals from a set-piece, 1 from a counter-attack, and in that counter-attack, you look at Antoine Hey and you say, hang on, what's going on? Why are you leaving 2 players defensively at the back? So that's something they're going to have to address, making sure they have extra protection at the back to stop those deadly counter-attacks. But look, second half now, it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to come back. They are going to have to be the side that takes the risk and opens up and tries to get themselves back into this one, and Singapore can just be patient and wait to pounce.
After a very bright start from Myanmar, Singapore hit with 3 goals in the space of about 10 minutes or so. Safwan Baruddin with a header, and then a great brace from Iksan Fandi. Half-time here at the National Stadium. It's Singapore 3, Myanmar 0. We are back here at the National Stadium, the second match of the AFF Suzuki Cup 2020 is about to start the second half here between Singapore and Myanmar. Singapore cruising now 3-0 up, and in response, Myanmar are making 3 changes. Ampio Win is coming on for Zoe Tun.
And 20, Swan Lam, replaced by 12, Win Nine Tung.
Wing Nine Tung replaces Swan Lam Mang. So those are the 2 that we've seen. We'll just confirm if there's a third for you shortly. So a lot of work to do here for Myanmar to try and get back into this match. I can also tell you that Luan Minong is on. He's going to be leading the line, it appears. But first, Singapore come forward with beautiful ball from Son Wei-ung. Oh, that is not matched by the shot from Faris Ramli, who balloons that over.
Yeah, again, it's Song in midfield who's causing all sorts of issues for Myanmar. Really hard-working. I mean, it's not just about his hard work and his ability to drive through the middle. He's able to pick out those defense-splitting passes. And again, there he was on that occasion, playing it in behind for Faris.
Confirmation that Ong Kong Man is replaced by Luin Moang, who's going to be leading the line. So Roshan, change of personnel, perhaps change of fortunes, because they started the first half very, very well, didn't they?
Yes, they looked good, and they were causing a few issues. You know, in possession, there were nice combinations. They were able to progress the ball really well through midfield and get in behind, especially down that right-hand side. Got a few crosses into the box. There was an early opportunity that needed a goal line clearance from Safwan. And then, again, they just sort of broke down from those set-piece situations and left themselves exposed on the counter-attacks. And perhaps a little bit of that naivety coming in terms of that tactical sense and losing their discipline in certain situations.
Almost just getting past his man there.
I was telling you this at half-time, and I really didn't want to say it on air, but I think I'm going to have to now, especially because you've encouraged me to. I'm going to put the blame on you. Is that in those counter-attacking situations, I think, and this is going to sound so cynical, but I think the professional thing to do is to try and break the attack down and to try and make sure you stop the counter-attack as early as you possibly can, in the earliest phase possible, however you can.
Being so diplomatic. Took me a lot of persuasion for him to even do that. Take one for the team.
I really don't want to encourage tactical fouling, but it's something that's part of the game, and
yeah. It is what it is. Gonna have to do it sometime. Let's see. They can be a bit more cynical, perhaps, in this second half. Here's their star man, Mong Mong Luin. He's gone out wide for a moment, hasn't he, Roshan?
Yeah, there's been a change in terms of that shape. We had Mong Mong Luin in the first half playing in more of a central role, and this is where we're sort of more used to seeing him playing this role out on this, again, either on that left-hand side or wide on that right-hand side. On this occasion, he's come on to the left. They've made those 3 changes, one of those coming in, Lin Mo Ong, to give them a bit more quality on the ball in central midfield, and they were flagging a little bit in terms of their fitness, and that's completely understandable.
Here's the new man, Neng Tun. Mong Mong Nguyen.
And even with Ning Tun up front, he's a different sort of profile of player to Kong Man that they had in the first half.
Oh, it's a heavy touch from Faris. Great looking break there, wasn't it, for Singapore?
You see again, every time they lose it, and it's 2-on-2. It's Faris and Iksan against the two central defenders there.
Why do they choose to leave them to keep themselves so exposed and commit numbers like that?
It could be a case of all the central midfielders pushing forward at the same time and not realizing that one of them has got to sort of just drop in and protect that defense and be that extra player. I mean, if you've got individual defenders who are excellent at 1v1 defending, then completely fine. Brilliant. But we've seen that they've been exposed in those one-on-ones.
Lucky there that he took a heavy touch.
It was a great challenge. It was a heavy touch. Good challenge from Nin Chan.
They got away with that one.
But again, it was Faris and Iksan up against Nin Chan and Pio Win.
Antoine Hay with a furrowed brow at the moment. He can't be happy with what's happened so far. Bobo playing in front of that four. He's just dropped back a bit again. Right here to No Chor, who's lost the ball. Here's Shawal, who's had some good runs in this game. He's on a hat-trick here, Iksan Fundi. Shutdown, he's been told to shoot! And it's just wide of the upright.
Yeah, really good work. Down this right-hand side by Shawal. The touches, that pace. You know, that's the key here. He runs away from Neng U, gets himself into a bit of space to work the ball into Iksan. And eventually, shot just going wide from Shannon. Decent technique. He's done well to keep it low from that sort of range. Just couldn't quite hit the target there. And again, they win it and counter-attack so quickly, Singapore.
Yeah, it's a corner here for Myanmar.
They've not really played much in the build-up, Singapore, and I think that's been a bit of a change. You know, I'll come back to it after we see how this corner develops.
It's very deep, that one. Someone got up well.
I wonder if he's just been working on trying to, Tatsuma Yoshida I'm referring to, is working on trying to turn them into this kind of counter-attacking side that takes advantage in those set-piece situations. Because we have seen, you know, them try to play this build-up game under Tatsuma, and they've struggled at times to sort of really implement it. And in the build-up today as well, I don't think it's been that great. I don't think it's been that fantastic. But where they've looked really dangerous is in those counter-attacking moments, in those transitional moments, and because they've got that pace to get into advanced areas quickly. It works for them. And of course, when you get into those attacking positions, you win a few more corners, win a few more free kicks. You take advantage in those set-piece situations as well. If your delivery is good, you know you've got the players in there with who are strong in the air.
There's Chomo. Pure win. And was replaced. Tun, who went off injured. It looked like took a bit of a knock earlier on the first half. A lot of the Myanmar players seem to have sustained knocks. Person Sani's looked authoritative in the air. preferred today ahead of Iswan Mahmoud, who has been pretty much the #1 under Tatsuma.
Yeah, they don't look fit, they don't look very sharp, Myanmar. And again, it's completely understandable when you've not had domestic football for a whole year, and most of your players are based in the domestic league. And you can't really expect too much from them.
It'll be interesting to see Vietnam, because they too have not been playing much in the Vietnamese league, but of course been playing a lot of internationals together.
Yeah.
So nice little contrast there.
And they've been playing top quality qualifiers, and they've been in training camp for a long time now.
That'll be fascinating to watch. Vietnam, the big favourites here at the AFF Suzuki Cup. Speculative attempt. Playing ball.
Yeah, simple enough save from Hassan Sani. Saw it coming all the way through. And even for Myanmar, I'll come back to that after we have a look at this shot. It's going wide anyway. Burbo on the ball again. Yeah, and even for Myanmar, yes, they had that month in Turkey and that training camp, but they weren't really able to play against good quality opposition. I think it was a couple of amateur sides.
Two amateur sides, Burundi and Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Seem to just switch it up a little bit here, haven't they, Myanmar? And shape a bit. Oh, it's a lovely turn there from Iksan. And acres of space for Shawal. Puts an early cross in. Morris couldn't quite get in the end of it. It will be a corner though. He's enjoying himself out on that right-hand side, isn't he?
Yeah,
finding a lot of joy.
So much space for him to really stretch his legs. Just have a look at this here. Wonderful turn from Iksan, and a clever ball into space for Shawal to go and chase. All over the place here, Myanmar. And as I said at the start, when we're looking at the lineups about Shawal and his qualities, it's not just his pace, it's his technical ability, and his movement off the ball is very good.
Shadon sends a ball in. It's another chance here. It's the hat-trick, but the flag has gone up for offside. Iksan Fandi is denied. There is no VAR at the AFF Championships. There was a hope for it to happen, but it's not to be in this tournament.
Let's have a look. Oh yeah, I think he's just offside as the header comes in from Irfan. They just can't compete physically, Myanmar, at the moment.
Winning all the headers, aren't they, in the set pieces?
I wonder if, and look, this is not a man marking, zonal marking debate, because I think, you know, there's no such thing as a perfect system, a marking system in football. You use what works in those situations, and it seems like they've gone with zonal here, which has actually worked into Singapore's hands, because you've got Safwan, Irfan, Iksan, who are free. They've got no one around them and have that space to run on and attack headers. And when you've got three big guys like that who are good in the air, running onto headers when they've got the momentum to go out and attack crosses that come in, you're asking for trouble. So I wonder if, you know, you can't compete in terms of that height. Yeah, but maybe you can compete in terms of physicality and man marking, and maybe making sure that I might not win the header, but I could just make a nuisance of myself.
In front of someone.
Just go and stand in front of him, or just hang on to him and make sure you're touch tight in those situations. So maybe a change of system in terms of how they mark could be a possibility.
What I feel right at the moment, Roshan, from Myanmar is Mong Nguyen's gone out wide and a bit further up the pitch. He just seems to have taken himself out of the game a bit.
Yeah, that involvement level has gone down, hasn't it? Whereas when he was obviously
kind of dictating things for them,
more of a central role, yeah, he was kind of pulling the strings for them. It's a good turn away by Mo Cho.
Yes, Lang Bo Bo. And now Neng Tun just dropped a little bit here. There's Mong Lun-win.
Yeah, I don't know if if you're watching this wherever you are, you're picking up the instructions coming from the players, but you can hear Hassan Sani instructing the defense there, and he's talking to his defenders, and he's having a look from that goalkeeping position. Everything's happening in front of you, so you have to organize, you have to see, and you have to sort of read situations and what's happened there, giving the instruction to Shake to come in to close that gap, because he's seen from a deeper position that there's a possibility of one of the Myanmar players making a run in between Shake and Safwan.
After that rather stiff challenge there from Shawal on Cho Mo, there's not going to be a card. Thought there might be. Antoine glaring across there. Might have been a case for a booking.
Such a late challenge, this one. He's gone lunging in as well, Shawal. He's never going to get there.
He's got away with that one. Oof.
Was he not booked for that?
No, no card.
Are you serious?
Yep, no card. No card. I think that's been one of the worst challenges we've seen today.
That should be a yellow card, at the minimum.
Now you can just hear Hassan talking to Shawal, just to keep an eye, move across a bit. Here we go. Myanmar trying to force themselves to get back into this game. And now, this is where they've been in trouble. Need a better ball there from Faris. And that's got Hassan Shani in a bit of a stretch.
And a shot coming in from Lun Mo Ong. Again, from range. Just that counter-attack breaking down, and it's got to be a pretty special strike from that sort of range.
But listen, Russian, they were one pass away from getting themselves into trouble, weren't they? If it was been a better ball from Faris. We have been talking about that as a point of reference, the way they've been caught out at the back.
I'm going to have to go home and watch this game again, just to have another look at why they've left themselves exposed like that in these counter-attacking situations.
Looking forward to that report from you. There will be another change for Myanmar. Another young player coming on. Tet Pyo Wai. There are two very young squads in this tournament. We've already seen one of them in action today in Timor-Leste, and another one here. Singapore themselves going to start bringing on the youngsters, Roshan. I think with this game pretty much done and dusted as far as Singapore are concerned, they're going to start thinking about some fresh legs, some rotation. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it is. It is. You need to manage the fitness levels of these players, and again, they're so open in midfield.
Nazrul just waiting for the ball to get under his feet, and that one was full of cameras, it felt like, from Lin Lat. But there was Song Wei-young with the shot.
Yeah, Nazrul with the supporting run up the pitch. If he just had a look to his left there, Song. Insan was in acres of space, but I think Song was desperate to score here. Get his name on the score sheet. I think he deserves a goal for his performance. Yeah, it's Tet Ong who's come off the number 30.
Again, they're in trouble. They are really quite messy at the back off these set pieces, and it's a wild shot in the end from Safwan.
Well, it's those problems in midfield that I pointed out at the start of the game. So they had those issues, Myanmar, against Indonesia, and it's happening again where there's no protection for the defense. It's a case of having all these midfielders, 3 of them, and they all seem to want to get forward at the same time, and at times it's 3 of them standing in a straight line. There's no depth to that midfield. So a quick pass through that midfield, that line is completely broken, and you're running at that defense.
Singapore about to bring on 2 of their own. Hami Shahin, the midfielder, who's been out for quite some time with injury problems, is coming on. They're just trying to tell Shawal Anwar, I think, is one of them, and on the other end,
Faris Ramli.
Faris Ramli, thank you, Roshan. And Suzliman comes on for Shawal Anwar.
Yeah, changes, they make a lot of sense. Taking off your explosive wide players who have been very effective, especially Shawal Anwar down this right-hand side. And Faris picking up an assist for himself as well with Iksan's goal. Watch their conditioning, keep them fresh for the challenges ahead.
I think that's just pushed Song a little bit higher up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pushed Song out into that left-hand side. He's taken over Faris's position on the left of that front 3.
It's a yellow card as well now for Haris Harun.
I think he was annoyed with Shakir's initial clearance there.
2 yellows in the group status, Roshan, means you miss the next game. So, well, we talked about cynicism earlier. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's just something you got to think about as well with these yellow cards. 2 goals today for Iksan Fandi. Was on a hat-trick, and here they are. But it's first Safwan Baradin who got Singapore going.
Yeah, strong header from Safwan, and again they just peel away, and they've got a clear run at these set pieces that have come in from Shadan. But this is a wonderful finish from Iksan. You know, he keeps his composure and trusts his quality. Drill it in towards that far post, and then here again another wonderful delivery from Shadan, put away by Iksan Fandi with the header, and he's just standing alone, unmarked.
The wave making its way around the stadium again. Fans would dearly love a 4th, but for Singapore now they're just thinking about game management. It's job done. Found a way through here, straight at Hassan Sunny, the shot. The angle perhaps not in the favour of Wuneng Tun. And that's been their best effort so far. Hassan called into action.
Yeah, just losing out, and perhaps a bit of complacency creeping in certain situations. Giving Hassan something to do there. To be more involved, Hassan Sunny, in this second half. To keep out a couple of long-range efforts, and then just that one there. And 3 saves. All of them have come in the second half.
Solid from Safwan. Given away by Shadan. But he's won it back well. Here's Song. Bit of miscommunication there. What a debut he's had, competitive debut, Song Woo-young. And there's more to come from him.
It does look like Singapore at the moment has just dropped into a back 5 as well. And Zulkarnain in it. Looks like he's just playing at left wing back for the moment.
They just seem to have maybe lost their concentration the last few minutes.
I think with Harris as well, he's just lost his touch for the moment. There's been a couple of errors from him in quick succession. He's getting a bit frustrated with his teammates. I think that one just there, he was looking to try and play into space ahead of Nazrul to go and meet the ball. But perhaps Nazrul was thinking otherwise, more concerned with protecting his position. And now there's space for him to get forward here. Much better communication between the two.
Here comes Nazrul Nazari. Irfan Fandi. Now Hami Shahin. Again, it's just gone awry there from Song. Look at the pace there. Neng Tun.
Oh, Safwan did really well to keep up with him.
Well, Singapore have been guilty of giving the ball away very, very cheaply in the last few minutes. Here's Bobo. Neng Tun.
Yeah, again, they've not been good in possession, Singapore, and again, they just lose out here.
That's a chance, isn't it? Neng Tun was in a good position there, and that's why I think Hassan Sani is just coming out screaming at his players.
Few nervy moments for Singapore here. I mean, they've got a 3-goal lead, sure, but they're allowing Myanmar to start to get themselves back into this game, growing in confidence, picking off these passes in midfield and finding a way through in behind that defense. It's a decent chance from Neng Tun.
Here's Chor Mo, and they sense that something might be in the air, but if they're going to get back into this, they need a goal soon. Neng U.
Yeah, I just think Hassan there with the goal kick. It was a good goal kick out into Hami, and he wanted him to just hang on to it. He had time to actually take the ball down there instead of trying to flick it on, losing possession. And this will help for the moment. Song going down, they can just take their time to get things restarted again and make sure they try and hang on to possession here, try and keep the ball.
Here's Song. Now Shakir.
Yeah, that's good. You try to take the sting out of the game for the moment, just try and kill it off for Myanmar.
Shadan. Zulkarnain. And it's offside. Crowd's going restless.
Yeah, that's poor from Zulkarnain. He's looking right across the line as well.
Just wonder whether it kind of coincided with the changes. Is that perhaps had a correlation?
Yeah, sure, that will affect the...
Neng Tu's in a good position here, but That was never on, was it?
And a really difficult angle for Nington. But again, it's a nice run and a clever pass played in behind. Just the angle was always against him there. Wasn't in control of his shot.
We've really not seen enough of Mong Nguyen, have we, in the second half? In comparison to what he was doing in the first.
Just there playing that pass in behind, but we've not seen enough of that in the second 45. And a lot more involved in the first half, in a more of a central position. Since he's been shifted out to this left-hand side, he's been kept quiet for the most part.
Still probing here, and still going for it. Myanmar, to their credit. Pure white. Out wide to Chomo. Almost 8,000 in here. Well, there was space on that right-hand side to try and exploit.
This doesn't look good for Singapore. I think it's Song Hui-yong who's just gone down holding his groin.
Yeah.
There we go.
Not a good sign. And I think whatever happens here, he's probably going to go off anyway. Not going to take those risks, are they? He's already taken the strapping off, Russian. There you go. It's decided, isn't it?
Yeah, he's straight away. He's told the physio.
When you're clutching your groin,
I don't want to play.
Yeah,
I'm not going to play. But look, but he's been, I think, perhaps Singapore's best player in midfield. I know there's an argument for Iksan because of the goals he scored as well, and maybe even Shawa. But yeah, look, I think he's been industrious. He's been key to lots of good things that Singapore have done in this game, especially in those counter-attacking situations. He's been able to hang on to the ball for them in midfield. He's been able to carry it forward and find those defense-splitting passes.
Well, that could well be a blow for Singapore if he is out.
I think Singapore will just be hoping it's not something that's too serious.
Adam Swandi is going to be his replacement. His club teammate. Man City Sailors dominating the Singapore national squad. They start down to 10 men for the moment. Here's Hami Shahin. Oh, plenty of space here now. Zulkarnain and Susliman. Iksan. Oh, and that is some very brave defending from the Enchant. Threw himself at that. He's annoyed at himself, Iksan, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a good pass in behind. And Zulkarnain here, I thought initially he might have been tempted to have a go at goal himself. He has decided to play Iksan in. And just that pass from Zulkarnain to Iksan, you know, we spoke about trying to find that extra 1% that improves your game and can make a difference in a match like this as this cross comes in.
And that's cleared off the line by Mong Nguyen.
Oh, he's
big deflection.
right.
Well, Song did not look like it was affected at all.
I don't think he's too badly hurt, is he? I mean, he just had that shot from range. There's this first header from Safwan's cleared off the line. And then as it comes into Song Hui-yong, could have gone anywhere really with the deflection that he took.
Interesting, Roshan, because Adam Swandi was stripped and ready to come on.
Yeah, he's still
there,
waiting
and
on the touchline.
They'd have to just they want to take that precaution, surely, for Song.
Well, he seems to have shaken off whatever issue.
I think it was the tape. It was the red tape that was causing the problem. But that was quite the shot. Just a reminder there that Kwang Khan has come on for Yan Nengu.
Yeah, Song who's chasing this down and he's looking to try and keep that one in play. Surely now he gets taken off. And he can stay there, no problem. Of course, he's going to walk himself back onto the pitch just to try and eat up as much time as he possibly can.
This is what I'm sure you as a teammate loved about him, Roshan. He just never gives up. This guy just keeps going and going.
He keeps going and going. He doesn't give up. Incredible work rate. Good. It's not just incredible work rate, good technical quality as well.
What a competitive debut for Song Wei-young, replaced by Adam Swandi. There's about 10 minutes or so left. I wonder whether Singapore will make their full complement of 5. Because Myanmar has certainly done that. Also allows him to get a little bit of adulation. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I wonder if he was actually changing his mind about wanting to come off. Because when he went down feeling his groin, he
didn't look good, did it?
Immediately gave a signal to the physio that he wanted to come off. And then we see him take a shot from what, 25 meters out, and then after that accelerating down the line, looking to keep the ball in play. Frustrated there, Safwan, that free kick was given against him.
Well, it really is now or never territory for Myanmar if they want to get something out of this game. And it's defensive duties there from Iksan Fandi. Here's Mong Mong Luin. Decent ball in the box, and Hassan intervenes well. Rami Shahin is chasing this. Now has he hurt himself? Feeling the back of his leg.
Let's see. Let's have a look at what happens here. I mean, Mong Mong Lin sends this one in. It's a good cross from Mong Mong Lin. Forces Hassan to just come out and react to punch that one away. I think it's just a bit of contact between himself and Nen Chan. He should be okay. Just knock on the shin. He should be all right. I mean, it just eats away a few more seconds, kills the rhythm and tempo of the game.
While they're tending to Hassan there, Sunny there, Roshan, you were talking about a back 5 for a little bit, weren't you?
Yeah, it turned into a back 5 when Zulkarnain came on.
And that's quite good because he's been tinkering with that a little bit, hasn't he? In or a back 3, shall we say?
Yeah. Well, we've seen that.
Yeah.
We have seen that from Tatsuma Yoshida with that back 3, the back 5, whatever you want to call it. At times, here it looks like, you know, they have that 3-goal lead, and probably thought, yeah, I just want to protect it a little bit. Sure, I'll make those changes to keep Faris and Shawal fresh, but I just want to put on players in there to just try and slow things down.
Here's one Mahmoud there, just in case he's called up.
And an extra body then in defence with that 5 across the back.
Almost got away there. Needed to be a better ball there. Singapore have been one good ball away from getting about 2 or 3 more goals in this game, haven't they? But as you say, it's been mainly on those kind of situations of mistakes or counter-attacks.
We're seeing a different sort of Singapore here, and I don't know whether it's accidental, it's just come about, or whether it's a specific instruction. The only people who would absolutely know that are the coaches, the coaching staff and the players. I'll come back to it in a bit.
Zulkarnain's done well. Looked like he was going to get past his man.
Yeah, I mean, David Tan just gets caught out of position here, and Neen Chan has got to come across and help out.
Probably goes into the book.
Yeah, just going back to that thing about coming a sort of a counter-attacking team, and it could work for them, something that could work for them. We've seen them struggle, as I said earlier, we've seen them struggle with their possession game, and perhaps it's something that's not quite worked out for them. And in a competition like this, you know, you need to get results, you need to get results quickly. And even in this game, they haven't been that good with the ball, haven't been great with the build-up and the possession. But in those counter-attacking situations, they've been deadly. In those set-piece situations, they've been deadly. And if that works for you, why not use that?
Sharan standing over the ball. Mong Mong Lwin is there. Harris looks like he completely missed that. Someone trying to put it back in the mix. Mong Mong Lwin now leading, trying to lead a counter-attack. Pure made dispossessed, Pure White.
I think the numbers support that as well. I think we saw at half-time Myanmar having more possession than Singapore, and that was the case. I mean, obviously goals change games, and at 3-0 up, you expect Myanmar to have a bit more possession. Their possession stats coming up here to support that again. But you know, even before those 3 goals, it was Myanmar who had a bit more of the ball, and Singapore started to grow into the game. But it was more from those counter-attacking situations where they looked dangerous.
Well, we talked about the naivety they've shown in the game against Indonesia in the warm-up. They've displayed that in abundance, I'm afraid, here for them in this match, the 3 goals, and a few more that could have gone in.
Yeah, look, when they went 3 up, Singapore, I thought it was going to be really difficult for Myanmar. I thought it was going to be a really long night for them.
Yeah, but they are sticking to their task, trying hard here, pushing. There's Hamish Shahin. One back by Mo'ong.
They were looking really tired and deflated, Myanmar, towards the end of that first half. And those changes at halftime, I think those 3 changes helped them in that sense, injected a bit more energy into the game. Tatsuma Yoshida is fuming on the touchline here. He's absolutely furious with the fact that Singapore just sitting back so deep, and I think he wanted Hamish Shahin just to be a little bit more aggressive, to close down and press there in that situation.
That's offside on Iksan.
Yeah, Harris has gone down here, expecting perhaps to be taken off.
And there is a double change to be made. Emi Reka has had a very good season for Geylang International, a team that was struggling overall, and he's rewarded with his first competitive international cap. Ikram Rifki is also going to have a couple minutes.
Well, just thinking about the substitution here, I think it was supposed to be Nazrul. It is going to be Nazrul, but I think because Harris has just gone down there, they were just considering just changing it around a little bit, perhaps keeping Nazrul on.
Nazrul's going to go off for Ikram. No hat-trick today for Iksan Fandi, but he has done his job brilliantly with those 2 goals.
Gets an appreciative hug from his coach. Nice round of applause from the fans here. Tatsuma Yoshida is not quite happy perhaps with the attitude of some of the players here. Leading 3-0 almost at the end of the match, and he's screaming to his defenders to wake up.
Do you feel, Roshan, that 3-0 going into the break, coming out in the second half, they really ought to have added on to that? The way they've played in the second half?
No, I think I don't really remember them creating much of note in the second half. So a couple of opportunities with a bit better decision making, with better finishing, they could have added to the tally. But it's not been a great second half with the ball, and perhaps even without the ball. But what they've done really well is they've kind of managed their way through this game.
That was that very scrappy 10-minute spell, wasn't it?
Where they were losing possession, they were giving it back to Myanmar quite easily, and they were quite fortunate. I mean, I think if that was to happen against a Thailand or a Philippines, then they could very well be punished for their sloppiness. But having said that, I mean, first game of the competition, results perhaps coming into this haven't been that great.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. I mean, you win your first game 3-0. We know how difficult first games in the competitions can be. Myanmar looked good starting off this match and caused a few issues, but eventually it's Singapore who are going to come away with a big win here. 3-0, 3 points, top of the group.
Well, that's also a key one there. They are ahead of Thailand, who also laboured, didn't they? I mean, even more so.
Exactly. More so than Singapore against
a minnow, let's face it.
That's right. Against a side who
were fielding a Malian under-23 team.
And the lower seeds in the group. So everybody would be looking at Timor-Leste thinking this is a game we're going to have to be picking up 3 points.
Yeah. Look, we also have to remember there's not been that much football being played overall. Yes, for some there's been a lot of international football and no domestic football. For others, there's been no domestic football and a smattering of international. So we're going to have this, aren't we, in the early stages of the tournament. As it progresses, of course, hopefully things really start to warm up.
Yeah, I mean, it could be interesting as well to see what happens as the tournament goes on in terms of fatigue and how teams manage that. Which of these sides in this competition has got good conditioning, good fitness levels, superior fitness levels, and that will help them as the competition goes on, because it's quite a compressed schedule.
Yeah, only 2 days rest. You're playing every 3 days effectively. Now, Adam Swandi chipping that over for Amy Reka, who's got to work hard to try and get there. Bobo doing well. Now more Ang. Into the final 30 seconds or so here for a consolation goal. The next objective, of course, to complete that final clean sheet. Shadow clears.
Players going down all over the
Left,
place
right,
with cramp. Referees just encourage Myanmar to play on.
Away by Safwan. We've had more than 3 minutes. And there we have it. It's a win for the hosts, Singapore. It's a good start for the hosts. A little bit of a couple of angry moments towards the end, but all good. And the crowd will be delighted with that, Roshan.
Yeah, they will be. And, you know, they've come out to support the team. Well done to them. The team has responded. picked up a big win here. They can be really satisfied with the result, and a couple of things to work on, sure. But look, it's tournament football, and it's all about picking up those points in the group stages here, making sure you're in a good position to progress into the next round of the competition, and then you see how it goes from there. Very effective on the counter-attacks, deadly on the counter-attacks, great use of the set pieces, and I think they come away deserved winners here, Singapore.
Delight there for Tatsuma Yoshida, return to winning ways. It's been a while, hasn't it, for him. Safwan Baradin got Singapore going with that looping header off a corner, and that set Singapore on their path. And then it was two-goal hero Iksan Fandi on his return to the national team, having not taken part in the World Cup qualifiers in June, and boy do they miss his presence. The younger brother of Irfan Fandi there with two excellent goals. Singapore going into the break 3-0, couldn't really add to that tally, weren't at their best. There he is, Iksan Fandi, the number 9. But they have been pretty good value today, and as Roshan pointed out, to get the opening game under your belt with the 3 points is most important.
Yeah, most important. And even in the match prior to this, Thailand and Timor-Leste, Mano Polkin came out after the match and said, you know, yeah, perhaps there are a few things not that great with the performance, but what's important is the first game of the competition we got 3 points, and it can always be very difficult against sides who are motivated themselves to get off to a strong start. And I think that's what we saw from Myanmar here in this game against Singapore. The fact that Myanmar themselves obviously wanted to get off to a good start, wanted to go on and win this, and cause a few issues. A goal early on from them, perhaps. I keep thinking back to that Ong Kong Man. If it just got in a toe on that, perhaps the game would have been different, but Singapore, to their credit, took advantage of the counter-attacks, took advantage of the set pieces, and this man, the man of the match, Shazad.
2 goals, Oppo man of the match, Iksan Fandi. Nice call close call between him and Song Wei-yong. But it's always hard to deny a goal scorer when he's got a brace, I suppose. But what an excellent brace it was. And Singapore have started in the perfect way. They have not only won the game, but they have gone top of Group A.
Yeah, look, again, that's what it was about. You know, you picked up the 3 points. They got 3 goals. They've kept a clean sheet. That will help the confidence going forward as well. And top of the group. Look, plenty of challenges still up ahead for them. Still a long way to go. But it's a positive result and a positive start for Singapore on their AFF Suzuki Cup 2020 campaign. So congratulations to them on this result. For Myanmar, back to the drawing board, recovery, time to work on a few things and see if they can respond the next time they're in action.
So there you have it, the table. Singapore absolutely delighted with that, because here in the second match on the first day of the AFF Suzuki Cup 2020, Singapore have beaten Myanmar by 3-0.
Coach, Myanmar faded after a bright start. What was your take on the game?
Yeah, it was a very slow start from us. You know, we are struggling a little bit to find our rhythm. No league, no competitive football for a long time. The players need time to get into match fitness, and that's what cost us in the first 45 minutes.
Mong Lin started in the center of midfield. What was your thinking behind that?
Yes, we have some key players, and we want to use them in positions where they can have the most influence in our game. And actually, when we had ball possession, it looked quite well. We defended the corners very badly. One situation with a counter-attack for the 2-0, where we have too slow in transition. All in all, you know, that's what we have at the moment, and we need to pick up soon.
And Timor-Leste up next. What do you make of your Timor-Leste up next? What do you make of your opponents after they give Thailand a hard fight?
Yes, we will now look into our changing room, see who's fit, who had a knock, 1 or 2 injuries. We have already seen and then we will reorganize and see what we can come up with the team for Timor-Leste.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Pleasure.
You sent 10 goals in 19 games. You're in fine form. Can you take us through those 2 goals?
Sorry?
Can you take us through those 2 goals?
I don't know. I guess it was a little bit clinical. First shot, first goal. First header, first goal. Yeah, it was good. It's good to be back in the National Stadium. I think the last time I was here was 2019. It's really nice to be home. Yeah.
And on a lighter note, how is it having your 2 brothers in the squad with you?
How's it like? It's really fun in the hotel room. You know, we're hanging out in each other's rooms. Like it's all jokes, it's all fun. It's like a family thing. Morale is really good within the team. So yeah, it's really nice to have them around.
And 2 days rest before you face Philippines on Wednesday. What are you expecting from your opposition?
Really physical side. You know, we know how they play, and we're gonna recover now, rest, see through the game, see what we can do better on this game, and move forward for the next one.
And overall, how's the mood in the camp?
Mood is going good. Yeah, like I said, we're just gonna go back, recover, watch this game again, and see what we can improve on for the next.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Congrats.
you. Thank you. See you.
Goal number 3 for Singapore. Once again, number 9, Iksan Fandi.
Substitution for Myanmar, 30, Hein Tet Aung, replaced by 14, 10,